No, you're just overrated. Alright guys, so today we're talking about Matt Reeves' The Batman, which is honestly a lot more of a disappointing movie than I expected it to be. So in this movie, we're basically watching the Batman following a path of clues, a trail of clues left behind by a sadistic, jealous, psychopathic killer, who in this case is the Riddler, searching for the truth in a world of lies. The clues that the Riddler leaves behind are clever, cunning, curiously interesting, funny, and disgusting all at the same time. And as intriguing as the story sounds, it was boring. Like, the entire concept behind this movie is intriguing. While you're watching, you're like, okay, this movie seems intriguing, the concept seems intriguing, but while you're watching the movie, you can't help but just feel bored out of your mind. Though at the same time, there are various aspects of this movie that you will enjoy. I mean, for starters, this is the best depiction of Gotham City we've seen. It really gives off the crime vibes, dark, gloomy, dangerous city. It's exactly what you picture Gotham to be when you think about it. And I mean, right off the bat, we're introduced to the Batman. We're seeing he's only been in this city for a few years now, and we already have criminals while committing criminal acts, looking into dark corners, corner alleys, expecting the Batman to appear out of the shadows. The Batman is truly a menace. Robert Pattinson's Batman is absolutely menacing when you see him at the start walking towards his enemies. He is intimidating as hell. And I mean, he doesn't really have a good relation with the GCPD, who don't really feel comfortable working with him, and that's expected that he's a vigilante. They don't feel comfortable. And I personally really love the dual response to Batman and his alter ego Bruce Wayne, because I mean, when we see Batman enter a room full of cops, the police are like, what the hell is this guy doing here? What the hell is he doing? He shouldn't be here. This is a police case. This is an investigation. But then one day see Bruce Wayne, they're like, oh, Bruce Wayne! Honestly, that's just a really fun alter ego aspect that we see. And I mean, as we go on this entire clue hunt, we see the Riddler as a menace, committing gruesome murders, and honestly, the Riddler is absolutely terrifying until you see him. And I don't mean just see him when he reveals himself. I'm going to throw out the movie whenever you see him appear talking to him with a picture of himself. He seems so childish. Like, he's talking to you on the phone. Oh no. Listen to me. He seems so goddamn childish, so goddamn jealous. Honestly, the Riddler was just... His motives in this movie were also garbage. He's literally just a jealous, narcissistic kid who wants attention, doing everything out of jealousy. I mean, I guess he never had parents. He's an orphan. He never had parents to teach him the right way. Literally feels like an influencer kid who didn't get what he wants, so he goes on a spree of killing people. Though another great aspect about this movie was that it is a villain origin story. We were introduced to so many villains in this movie. The Penguin, Falcone, or Falcone, however you want to pronounce it. There was Catwoman, who is also brilliant. Sure, in this movie, we weren't really introduced to Catwoman. We were just introduced her in her developing state of Selina Kyle, and we're already being introduced to the love-hate relationship between Batman and Selina Kyle, and we can expect in future movies, and hopefully there will be spin-offs. I may not have liked this movie, but I really want spin-offs because I want to see these villains further develop. I want to see Batman further develop. The character development in this movie is great, and it will span on to more movies, letting characters grow and experience more relationships and experience more action scenes, which are mind-blowing. And the greatest action scene in this movie was the car chase scene, which was beautiful and mind-blowing. Back to the villains. There were many villains who weren't like shown but were referenced, like Maroni. There are so many drug lords, there are so many powerful people in this city that you don't want to mess with, but you want to see Batman go against. Honestly, though, one thing that really has me going though is how the Riddler has superior mental prowess over the Batman in this movie. Like, we're literally seeing Batman being played like a bat in a cage. And although the Batman's doing his best to try and save as many lives as he can, he's overthinking things and letting the Riddler basically manipulate him how he pleases. And in the end, Batman is just playing into the hands of the Riddler. And then again at the end, when the Riddler finally reveals himself and whatever you see him in the show, like I said before, he feels like an absolute child. And the Riddler as a character just feels like, no, you don't like the Riddler at all. Like, aside from introducing various villains, just also the whole ton of character development for the Batman. Like I said, he literally feels like a Batman, immature Batman. A Batman before he learns to cope with the trauma left behind from his parents' deaths. He's still suffering from that trauma, and he's still suffering. He doesn't have his true sense of justice right now. Right now, he just calls himself Vengeance, not the Batman. People refer to him as the Batman, and he refers to himself as Batman like once or twice in this entire film. But his entire idea right now about playing Batman or acting as Batman, Bruce Wayne's entire idea is that he is vengeance. And at the end, when he sees the idea of vengeance once again at the end, there's a huge contrast on how he feels at the start and how he feels at the end. And that's really setting him up for future movies where we'll see him slowly develop his true sense of justice and grow as a character and as a human being. So that entire contrast in Batman's ideals and beliefs from the start and end greatly varies, and it's really interesting to watch his character develop in this movie and what you can expect him to develop in future movies. And then we also see various crazy action scenes in this movie, namely the Batmobile scene, which Batmobile car chase scene. Though the Batmobile was a letdown, seeing that there were no weapons or crazy integrations in the Batmobile like we'd expect the Batmobile to have. It really just feels like a plain old car. This truly is a coming of age story for Batman while also being a villain origin story. This is also the beginning of Catwoman. Zoe Kravitz, it hasn't really been fully developed into Catwoman as we expect her to be, a sort of love interest for Batman while also being an enemy of Batman. And in this movie, we're just seeing the beginning of the love-hate relationship between the two characters. She hasn't truly grown into Catwoman, but the seeds have been planted, and I can't wait to see how that develops. The acting performances for Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz were absolutely beautiful. Their chemistry was great. I can't wait to see the relationship between these two characters further develop in future movies. I may not like this, but you really do get invested in the series, wanting to see future movies. This movie really wasn't that immersive. I mean, yeah, there's the idea of death around every corner, the idea of these villains are coming after the Batman, the Riddler's entire plan, manipulating the Batman. Like, as immersive as you think this movie would be, it really wasn't that immersive, and you don't really want to waste another 3 hours watching this movie, because it just wasn't too intensing. You were bored throughout this movie. You really aren't enticed into rewatching this movie. Though, if I may say, the visuals in this movie were absolutely stunning. Batman really is an inspirational person in this movie, especially as he grows throughout the film. You also really enjoy watching how the GCPD grows along with the Batman. The characters are also really well designed, well written, and you're excited on how the future has been set up for this series. And another great aspect about this movie is the promotional aspect, because, bro, the website written in the movie, rataalada.com or whatever it's called, you can go on that website, and after the movie, after you've watched it, it's still hyping you up, leaving a message saying that the Batman, or not the Batman, the Riddler will return. So that's something to keep in mind and keep you interested in. Hopefully next time we see the Riddler, he will be more enticing and interesting to watch, and though I still think he'll feel like a child. But yeah, the promotional aspect of this movie, even after the movie has been released, is really cool to see. Overall though, I have to give this movie a 69%. Watching it was really intriguing, yet really boring, so I can't really rate it that high, and the Riddler as a villain just wasn't it, man. He's literally just a child, a jealous, narcissistic, psychopathic child. Didn't get what I want, okay, I'm gonna go kill a bunch of people. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's really worth a watch at least once. But this movie really is, you'll either like it or you won't, but it really isn't higher than a 69% for me. Hope you guys check it out. You should watch this with your friends. Maybe not family. It's a little too dark for family. But like, you should still just watch it with your friends. Definitely check it out. And with that, that's all I have for you guys today. Let me know down in the comment section below if you've seen this movie. Let me know what you think of it. What you think of Robert Pattinson's Batman. How do you compare Robert Pattinson's Batman to The Dark Knight, Christian Bale's Batman, Ben Affleck's Batman? Ben Affleck is personally my favorite. Christian Bale's my second favorite. The Dark Knight trilogy is my favorite Batman trilogy of all time. Be sure to let me know what your comparisons down in the comment section below. And also, the Gotham Riddler. I think I really like that Riddler a lot more than the Riddler here. I like the Penguin from Gotham a lot more. Though I also like the Penguin from the Batman as well. Though we haven't seen much of him. And I'm really excited to see the Penguin in the Batman in this universe grow. I'm BT, the King of TV. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!